What's up, guys? I'm here with the latest addition to the Tacoma. This is the C4 high clearance swing out rear bumper. I just went and picked it up from FedEx Freight. And now I have the task of getting this off the back of my truck somehow. I'm going to try and slide it down. So there she is, all unboxed. This thing is extremely heavy. It's about 250 pounds. Getting it off my truck was a doozy, but I did it. Fortunately, I do believe this comes in two pieces because I need to get this off this pallet. It was shipped in bare metal. So I'm going to actually have to paint this myself, which is going to be a process. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up a clean room in my garage, as clean as it can be. And then I'm going to actually finish this myself. So surprise, we're going to get a how to paint steel tutorial in this video. What's up, guys? It's I'm not even sure anymore. I think this is like the third or fourth day of this project. I finally got all the painting done. Everything's ready to go here in the garage. If we take a look, all of that is set up. I got all my tools. I got the puppy here. He's hanging out. We're ready. What's up, buddy? We're ready to do this thing, so let's get to it. So it's now time to disconnect our bumper. If you have the backup sensors like I do, you are unfortunately going to have to take off this plastic top first. There's a whole bunch of little plastic tabs under there. In order to get all of that wiring and stuff out. I thought hopefully I could just take the bumper off by removing it with the tow hitch. However, you can't because there's a whole bunch of wires and stuff, as you can see, that run back here. So you're gonna have to take this off first so that you can disconnect all of these, because unfortunately they're clipped in underneath. So let's get to that. So we've gone ahead now and gotten the cap off of the bumper. Our next step now is going to be, if you didn't already, I would take your backup sensors and label them. So I labeled this one center left, that one is labeled tail left, so I just put TL. Center right, so CR, and then TR for tail right. That way when I go to reinstall these, there's no confusion about which side they go on. Unfortunately, I had to actually cut off, where is it? I had to cut off the wires for my trailer harness. That was the only way to get it out. I tried to finagle it 15 different ways and it wasn't working, unfortunately. So that's that. Also, I had to take my blind spot monitors out. Unfortunately, with the new bumper, those won't work. However, with a blind spot monitor, I know that they do work through plastic. And there's a guy right now in Tacoma world who is trying to actually figure out a way to mount them behind his taillight. So I'm going to hold on to those. And worst comes to worst, I might just sell them on Facebook Marketplace or something. Alright, so I've gone ahead and gotten all the screws out because there is a supporting bracket in here that you need to take out, and you're going to replace it with another one that's going to go in behind here. And first you remove all of the fender liner screws, which are all up here, and then you're going to take these. That one's not coming out, but it's actually not attached anymore, and these are what hold in the base of that bracket that go across here just to support the bottom of your truck. Take those out, and then we're going to measure and cut. So we've now gone and removed the taillight. The reason you have to do that is because this plastic piece needs to come off, and you're also going to be cutting up to about here, so you don't want your angle grinder or whatever you're using to cut with wandering and accidentally slicing into your taillight. In order to take off your taillight, there are 3 bolts here. I've already done it. So you got that one up there, and then there are 2 more right there. Take them off, and then you're just going to pull it out real gentle. Just kind of grab it and work it back. It'll pop out. Now prep this quarter panel for cutting. Your measurements are 18 right at the fender, 17 3/4 in the middle, and 17 3/4 back at where your tail light was. Remember, when you're going to cut something, you can always take more off. You can't put it back on. So if you want to undercut a little bit, that's probably safer, because we're going to undercut this, and then we're also going to sand it too with a little sanding tip for the Dremel. So I just finished making that cut. Now I actually went and touched it up with a small Dremel, and now I'm going to touch up the metal itself with this stuff. It's just color matched paint for my Tacoma. Finished up the other side, and I will say it makes all the difference in the world if you have a wired angle grinder. I would not use a battery powered one, because that thing just kept dying and dying. So I actually ran over to my neighbor's house and went and borrowed his. He was kind enough to lend it to me. Let's see here, I'm gonna have to clean this up, but for the most part, that's a pretty good cut. Yeah. So it's now many hours later. I finally got the bumper on. She's looking nice. I'm definitely have to touch up the paint, but man, that lines up really, really nice. I did need some help putting this on. I ended up using some jack stands and a little lift to get it up here. There you have her, looking good, nice and smooth. Yeah, I'm currently working on tightening down the bolts right up under there, these guys, getting all that tightened down in there. Our next step is going to be to take this support piece and mount it up underneath the bumper. It's going to go in the front, I think. I'm pretty sure, yes. If I can shove it in here, it's gonna go in. It's gonna go in something like that underneath the bumper, just to give you some extra support up here. Let's zoom out a little. There we go. It's gonna go in there behind the bumper. All right, it's now late. I'm super tired. The biggest holdup here was getting an angle grinder or cutoff wheel to work. I ended up going to my neighbor's house and borrowing one, and that sped up the process, but I probably killed a solid 2 hours at least just trying to charge the battery on the one, cut as much as I could, and then try and charge it again. Yeah, but the bumper is on now. The swing out arm is not. We'll get to that eventually. So there she is, looking pretty good. Again, that is without the swing out arm. I'll get some shots in the daytime tomorrow, but I already really like the profile of this. I think it definitely fits the contour of the truck. And we'll get all the rest of that on tomorrow. Got my nice garage mess going on here. Whew, boy, we'll just shut that bay and get back to it later. All right, guys, see you in the morning. So it's a beautiful brand new morning. I've had a full 10 hours of sleep. I came home just conked out last night. And I've had about 24 ounces of coffee. So I am ready to get this installation going. Everything is here laid out in some kind of organized mess, and we're gonna start slapping it all together. So I've gone ahead and drilled those two holes, as you can see right in the center of your screen, for that supporting piece that's going to go on the outside of the bumper here. It's that piece down there, the one that has the hardware in it. I test fitted it first by securing the edge of it onto the inside of the bumper, and then marked where I was going to drill. And then I started with a 3/8 drill bit, and then once I was through, I stepped it up to a half, because that's what you need to get those bolts through. So with the high clearance bumper installed, you're going to see that your tailpipe's going to hang down quite a bit. I have an aftermarket tailpipe, however, it does sit pretty much in the same exact position as the stock exhaust. And if we take a little measuring tape here to it, you can see it's about an 8 1/4 inch gap between it and the bumper. And it looks kind of silly, not to mention a side exit exhaust. If you are off-roading or driving through like abrasive materials, like gravel, dirt, and sand frequently, it's going to destroy your tailpipe. You can see I have all sorts of damage and stuff because basically whatever you're kicking up with your tire is going to sand the paint right off of that, or even the finish or whatever it is. So I'm going to cut that thing right at the back, right over the back axle, and then I might just take off the exhaust tip and put it on where I cut it. So it's now time to assemble the swing out arm, and there's a couple pieces that come with it. Here we have our bearings. This is going to go in the top like that. The other one is going to go in through the bottom, put them in there, and then I'm going to fill this up with some red and tacky grease. This is made for being on industrial equipment and is made specifically for ball bearings. If you're not going to use this, make sure you check the back of whatever grease you're going to be using, because some say not for ball bearings. And then you're going to take this piece, that's going to go right in there, wherever that little hole is, put it in there. And then this will be for our swing out arm. You can see it's spring loaded, kind of nice, so that we can swing this whole thing out. And then once you have put these in, you take that bearing seal, put it over top of it like that, and then tap it into place gently. I'm going to use a very large socket in order to bang that in, and a rubber mallet. Then you'll take this, which is your bolt, that's going to attach your actual swing arm to the bumper itself. You'll put that in the middle of this, so that's going to go right in through here. You can see here I'm just hand tightening this thing down. I was able to do it most of the way, and then I'm just going to take a wrench and finish it, but she's good to go. All right, our next step is going to be to install these things. What these do is they go onto here, so that when you go and close this, you're not going to rub your paint off.